All right, so far all that we have done with our ellipses revolves around us knowing the vertices and the co-vertices from our equation, but we haven't really talked much about those foci yet. This next fact is going to help us a lot to figure out where those foci are. Right here on your note sheet, it says that if an ellipse is centered at the origin, and that's all we're going to work with, the co-vertex, the focus, and the origin form a right triangle. So I'm going to draw a little picture here. All right. So there's my ellipse. Isn't it beautiful? We're gonna try that again. There's my ellipse. That's better. Okay. Um, the origin, the co-vertex, and the focus form a right triangle. So my focus is here. Here's the origin. Here's the co-vertex. Remember, the co-vertex is the shorter side of your ellipse. Okay. We get a right triangle there. Okay. And now here is another kind of cool fact. The length, this distance from the focus to the co-vertex, is the same as the distance from the origin to the vertex. And that is going to help us a lot to figure out where these foci are. All right, so let's see this kind of in practice in example 2. What are the coordinates of the foci of the ellipse with equation 36x squared plus 100y squared equals 3,600, and then graph the ellipse? First of all, our equation for our ellipse is not in standard form right now because standard form for an ellipse, our equation has to equal 1. So before we do anything else, let's divide both sides of our equation by 3,600. 36x squared over 3,600 gives us x squared over 100. Okay, so 36 over 3,600 is 1 over 100. 100y squared over 3,600 is y squared over 36. And that gives us our equation equal to 1. All right, well, this information is going to be enough for us to graph our ellipse. We have to do some work to figure out where the foci are. So let's start off by graphing here. But before we graph, we really need to figure out, is our ellipse going to be longer or taller? And since this first number is bigger, that tells us our ellipse is longer. Okay, our ellipse is wider. So that means if you look at our equation A, this is a squared and this is b squared. A is 10 or negative 10. B is 6 or negative 6. And again, because this first number is bigger, that tells us our ellipse is longer. All right, so let's start off by graphing now. Okay, our ellipse is longer, so that means on our x-axis we go from negative 10 to 10, and then on the y-axis we go from negative 6 to 6. And then do the best you can to connect those. That's definitely not going to be perfect, and that's okay. All right, we still have to figure out where our foci are though. So we got our equation. We know that our ellipse is longer. We know our vertices are at 10 and -10. Covertices are at 6 and -6. But we still have to figure out those foci. To find the foci, we have to use this fact that the covertex, the focus, and the origin are going to form a right triangle. So let's look at what we have here. I don't know where the focus is. So for now, let's just plot our focus, I don't know, somewhere over here. I'll put it here. Okay. So the covertex, the origin, and the focus form a right triangle. Okay, and I'm going to pull this right triangle out to the side here so I can work a little bit easier with it. Well, I know my covertex is at 6. So this length, this height of my right triangle is 6. And I don't know this length. If I knew this length, I would know where my focus was already. But if you look back up here again, this hypotenuse of my right triangle tells us not only from the focus, the distance from the focus to the covertex, but it also tells us the distance from the origin all the way out to the vertex. And I do know that because I know my vertex is at 10. So this hypotenuse length is also 10. Okay, I have a right triangle. I know 2 of my 3 sides. Let's use our Pythagorean theorem. 6 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. Subtract 36 from each side, x squared is 64. That means x has to be 8. Okay, so this bottom distance, this bottom length of my right triangle is 8, which means from my origin out to the focus is 8. And I actually wasn't too far off. So I'll cross that out here, and I'll draw the correct focus location here at 8, 0. And we have another focus on the other side at -8, 0. Okay, so the foci are at plus or minus 8, 0. And again, that just comes from the fact that our focus, our covertex, and the origin form a right triangle.